Sydney can be a beautiful place to live, but as with any big decision, whether it's relocating or just moving interstate, human nature dictates that we tend to research the place before we make such a massive life decision. So, here are 5 of the most important things you need to know before moving to Sydney in 2023. Hey, my name is Andy and welcome to my channel. Here I talk about Sydney property, I give tours of properties that I inspect, and I provide free education to those looking to buy a home in 2023. If any of that interests you, smash the subscribe button so you don't miss any golden nuggets along the way. So, are you thinking of moving to Sydney in 2023? Maybe you're thinking of relocating from another part of the country, you want to move interstate, or perhaps, like me, you're thinking about immigrating to the land down under. In any case, here are the top 5 things you need to know before making the big move. Number 1, it is really far away. This is something I really struggled to wrap my head around when I first moved here. I remember flying in and looking at the map on the plane just as I entered Australia land space just over Darwin and thinking, finally, I'm here. 5 hours later, I was still on that plane flying, looking over Australia. It's very hard to comprehend how big of a country this is, and it's only considered one country, whereas anywhere else in the world, it's an entire continent. So if you are thinking about moving here and you are thinking about immigrating like me, it takes an awful lot of time to get back to the country that you came from if you want to visit family and friends. So if you are thinking about emigrating from another country, you have to consider how long it'll take for you to get back to your country if you want to visit or if you want to go see family and friends, because it takes an awful lot of planning and it requires you to take an awful lot of time off work due to the travel time. In my case, it's about a 25-hour travel time, and that's just one way. So I lose a day getting there, a day getting back, plus the time difference. Even within Australia, if you want to go visit any of the other cities, nearly every single one of them requires you to take a flight. To get from Sydney to Perth, if you're relocating from Western Australia, it's about a 5-hour flight. Put that in context, you can get to about 90% of Europe in 5 hours from any point on the continent. Number 2 is the weather. Despite what social media and what other people may tell you, it actually does get cold in Australia. Sydney's wintertime is a little bit frigid, and it does get down to single digits at nighttime, requiring you to wear a jacket and to actually have winter clothes. Something I never considered when I think about Australia. I think about beaches, I think about shorts and t-shirts 365 days of the year. It's not in fact like that unless you live in some of the northern states. Another thing, the houses in Sydney, a lot of them tend to have been built a long time ago, and they are not the best at retaining heat. So in the wintertime, it does tend to feel an awful lot colder inside than it does outside. Number 3, the strong economy. Australia as a whole boasts a very strong economy on a global scale, but within Australia, Sydney boasts the strongest local economy of any other region in the entire country. With average weekly earnings within Australia of over $1,800 per week, that comes out at just under $96,000 per year. And with an unemployment rate at record lows of 3.7%, it has never been easier to get a job in Australia while there is a massive skills shortage. Here in Sydney, just by walking around the city, you can see how rich and vibrant the city is. There's massive skyscrapers being built all the time. There's huge infrastructure spend on tunnels and bridges to improve the accessibility into the city for its workers. And there's not just massive spending within the city hub of Sydney, there's also been massive spending outside in the greater Sydney area. The Western Sydney Airport is soon to open, and that will obviously make travel for Sydney residents a lot easier. Anyone working in construction, in medical, in science and technology, in education, in tourism, all of these sectors are in low supply within the Sydney area and offer great opportunities for those looking to improve their lifestyle and to demand a greater wage. Number 4, lifestyle. So this personally for me was the biggest reason why I came to Australia. So I come from a country where it's quite cold most of the year, like even in the wintertime. So when you come home, it tends to be a bit chilly. you're a bit tired, you're not really too bothered going outside and doing anything. You tend to want to just stay inside, sit by the fire, watch TV, and it's quite a sedentary lifestyle. Even come the weekends, there's not really a whole lot to do. In Australia, it offers so much more. A big thing in Australia, that especially in Sydney, that's really, really popular among young people is meeting up for a coffee, going down to the beach early in the morning and watching the sunrise. This is all before you go to work, going to the gym, getting that in before you get to your 9 to 5. And then obviously when you get home, there's an awful lot more to do. You still got the nice warm weather. You can go for a walk with your friends. You've got national parks that are nearby, and you've got city parks that offer a lot more to do in the evening time. And then come the weekends, all around the Sydney greater area, there's lots of national parks, there's lots of bushwalks, there's waterfalls. And it's a great area for anyone who loves the outdoors, anyone that likes getting out, being active in their spare time. And number 5 is coffee. Now, I know if I was watching one of these videos and somebody told me one of the main reasons to move to a city is because of its coffee, I would probably turn off the video. But hear me out. As someone who never really was that pushed on coffee, I would have just got your ordinary petrol station coffee and that would have been fine for me. When you come over to Australia, their coffee is so good. They tend to turn you into a bit of a coffee snob. And now when I go home and I have that cup of coffee that I used to drink before I came to Australia, it just tastes like pure dirt in my mouth. And I just really, really want a good cup of Australian coffee. There's coffee shops everywhere in Sydney, and nearly every single one of them tastes fantastic. They do have a few odd names for some of the coffees that I wasn't used to when I first came over here. Get over that pretty quick. But oftentimes, one of the best parts of my day is that coffee in the morning. That first sip feels like a hug, just sets you up right to get your day going. So if you like that video and you'd like to see more videos of that type, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate the support. My name is Andy. Thanks for watching.